5. What's happening? Welcome in. Thank you so much for being a part of this live. It is your boy, Coach Sean, and I'm back with some more man, honestly, just a Saturday reset. I got a good hour in me and we gonna make it do. I'm excited to be here. If you're new, my name is Coach Sean. I'm a faith-based relationship coach, and I'm excited for today's Q&A as people file in and uh lock in for the chat. Hey, when you're jumping in, do me a favor, drop your location and where you're watching me from. And what is your life satisfaction rate on a scale of 1 to 10? And third question, what are some plans you got for the weekend? What are some plans you got for the weekend? Let me know. Um, Again, I'm just really excited to be here and to share some space with you on this beautiful Saturday. If you're new, my name is Coach Sean. I'm a faith based relationship coach, and I simply help high performers, high achievers make confident relationship decisions and build relationships worth protecting. Okay. And this is a huge thing and a massive gap that I see in this space when it comes to relationships and healing and doing things in a healthy way in a secure lane. A lot of people just want to know, can they recover in the midst of making decisions that don't turn out to be so favorable? And high achievers struggle with this the most because one, you feel like there's so much to lose. Two, there's so much time to lose. Three, there's so many things that you got going on, and there's so much for you to balance. You're striving in your business, you're striving in your work, you're striving in making not just money, but having a lot of success in different areas. And yet, it feels like every other area works well except your relationships. And the reason why, out of many, is honestly because you don't trust what you see. The same brain that tells you without a shadow of a doubt to close a deal, to make sense, to make a connection, to build on your business is the same brain that will look somebody dead in the face who stood you up and has ghosted you twice to give them another opportunity. And it makes sense to you. And this page, this space is designed not to just help us understand why from intellectual spaces, but actually be able to build relational discernment that at the core of it is a reflection of your identity. Sidhu, I don't know actually. I don't know if I'm gonna watch UFC 30, 3:30 today. I didn't even know there was an event today, to be honest. I don't even know who's fighting. Who's fighting? Let me know. Shout out to Whites in the building. What's up? How you living? Appreciate you a ton for stopping by. And so, man, I think this is a good opportunity for us to just have some conversation, to just connect. Um, and I want to take your questions today. I'm just relaxing. I'm chilling. Hey, I appreciate you a ton, Tay. I appreciate you a ton. I love your advice. They're always helping me. I appreciate you a ton. Please feel free to share what you feel like has connected with you most. Is there any piece of advice you've heard that has stuck with you the most so far? I would love to hear. Everybody walking in, Potato Cat, appreciate you a ton for being here. Be sure to drop your life satisfaction on a scale of 1 to 10 and where you're watching from. Would love to know where you're watching from. But I really do think when it comes to these spaces of relationships, man, I think when we make the conversations centered on something that I think is a topic for today, and that is not expecting everybody to be you. I literally just came across a clip before I was going live that I think rings so true because we have so many conversations on compatibility. We've had our conversations here on compatibility. I think it's good to know, yes, how are we compatible? In what ways do we align? But compatibility is deeper than chemistry, deeper than physical attraction. It has so much to do with alignment in who we are and our values. But here's the thing that a lot of people, especially high achievers, I'm running into struggle with most when it comes to developing relationships and learning how to navigate a relationship with another real person that has issues, struggles, and that you are playing a complementary piece to engaging with. Y'all ready? High achievers struggle so much with not needing people to be like them. I tell you this because I'm a high achiever myself, number one. Number two, because of people that I've engaged in my work who are high achievers themselves. And because you think of the world in a particular light, oftentimes you're looking for somebody who you say can help with that, but in reality, you're looking for somebody to be exactly that. Think of things the way you do, see things the way you do. And I think what it does is it hurts the curiosity measurements of the relationship that's required. What's up, John Pork over on YouTube? Thank you so much for subscribing. How are you? Shout out to Kaylee. Happy birthday. Xander 5546, appreciate you a ton. So what we're talking about here though, y'all, is recognizing the impact of curiosity. Not everybody is meant to be like you. Not everybody is you. And not everybody thinks like you, sees the world like you do. And that doesn't mean that we don't look for people who align in the values that we carry. We just have to get over the fact that people are not going to be like us in all sense of the term. There's going to be some differences. There are going to be some differences in who you are. There are going to be some differences in where you guys go and what you guys appreciate. That doesn't mean that you're incompatible. Okay? That doesn't mean you're incompatible. That doesn't mean that you guys can't meet each other's needs. And that most certainly doesn't mean that you guys can't find a way to cultivate a healthy relationship. Okay? Oftentimes we are just learning that this person is different. How they process things is different. How they actually engage in relationships when there's a conflict is different. Okay. And that's not to say that we just make room for certain behaviors. No, we call it out, we speak up to it. Okay. We make adjustments, we address it, we do it healthily. But there are so many things and so many people in this space that are loud and proud about relationships that they aren't ready for. And there are so many people in this space who will tell you, okay, what to do and how to do. And they say it so loud and yet so wrong. Just because you guys don't think the same and move the same does not mean that you guys cannot work. Ask your question, Speed. What's up? Can I sing? I mean, I don't think I can necessarily sing like that. I'm good though. So yeah, I think it's just really important when it comes to engaging in relationships that you stop expecting people to be like you. There's only one of you. God has only made one of you. So let's embrace that. And let's use that as a lane of uniqueness to build connection with people through curiosity and alignment in values. Not everybody is supposed to be like you. And the more, I think one of the biggest pivotal turning points in relationships that you'll experience is the more curiosity that you begin to lose in this person because you feel like you know everything there is to know, or you feel like there's nothing else to do. There's nothing else to grow in. There's nothing else to experience. I have a feeling that more times than not, it's less about the relationship and it's more about a need that you're asking this person to meet that isn't their job to meet. And we have to be extremely curious on that to be able to build the healthiest secure relationships possible. Not everybody's like you. Okay? That's what makes relationships unique. If I was dating somebody that was exactly like me, it would be frustrating. Not because I'm frustrating and I'm a frustrating person, but because it robs us of the ability to remain unique and to remain in the curiosities that we have available to us to build relationships in a healthy way. Not everybody's like you, and that is okay. All right. Shout out to Taven who says spaces and relationships are so important to me. I think everyone needs some space. Yes, we all need space to be able to be ourselves. We should not find ourselves losing our individuality when it comes to building relationships with each other. Right? We should be able to embrace that and build on that as we grow closer together. Okay. Jazzy asked a question in the TikTok chat. What's your biggest heartbreak and how did you move on? That's such a great question. My biggest heartbreak so far, I mean, I've had a lot of heartbreaking moments. I think if I went the relationship route, I think my biggest heartbreak was actually just a potential pursuit that didn't really come to existence. So I had to grieve something that not only I had a lot of emotional investment into, but really never turned out to be what I wanted it to be. And so how I moved on was from these, I'm gonna say this and it's more simply said than done, but number one, I just had to be honest about what I was feeling and give myself the space to grieve those emotions healthily. That doesn't mean I necessarily was walking around, moping around, and just sad all day. However, when moments of sadness showed up, I did not dismiss it. I did not minimize it. I allowed it to be present. I shared some space with it, with curiosity. Number two, as part of grieving it to leave it healthily, I really had to engage in a lot of reframing of my experience. So instead of just attributing variety of different meanings to the breakup, to the situation, to the rejection, all those things, what I did was I continuously asked the question, what else could this mean? What else could this mean? What else could this mean about me? And there was one meaning that I gave myself or that I attributed to the experience that really was encouraging. And it was the idea that there's more to this. not more to this, but something good is going to come out of this. That's what I meant. Something good is going to come out of this experience. And so that was really helpful and huge for me. One of the biggest helping pieces was having community and brotherhood around me. Mentors and coaches. I know I'm definitely in a different space than many people. And I know not everybody has access to those things, but I highly encourage you guys as you're going through separations and loss of relationships, you got to get around people who you can trust, who will just hold space for you. I was around some people, man. They just gave me the ability to be where I was, and yes, they spoke life into me and into the situation. But they also gave me the opportunity to be where I was. At that time, there were differing opinions and different thoughts on just what I should do and how I should respond. And because I'm also a leader in this same space, it was important for me to be mindful of my response to it because I had other eyes watching me and observing me. That did not rob me from being present in my emotions. I think that just made me be more diligent to how I responded intentionally. Um, I think when you go through heartbreak and you go through relationship loss, it's very, very possible that you will cling to various stories. It's very, very possible that you will be quick to arrive to places of like, I can't stand relationships. I don't like people. I don't like men. I don't like women, wherever you stand on those situations. I think those things can definitely, scurry across your mind if you're not careful. So the biggest thing is just not zooming in on those, and you can most certainly address the meaning of the experience you're having without feeling like you're ignoring or burying something. It's just more so detaching identity from that meaning so you can move on. Um, so I think those are the biggest things that I have for you. Just allowing myself to feel those emotions. Being curious about the stories and actively engaging in those. And I think, prayer and being in community just made a massive difference in that space too, giving myself time to heal through that. Um, and looking back on it, man, I mean, I think everything that I really package in a lot of programs and helping other people, it's very, very similar to a lot of the stuff that I speak to now. You want to be mindful and aware of the stories you're attributing to the experiences you're having, because oftentimes it's less about the experience, more about what you believe that experience means about you, your availability, your future. Okay. What you're available for, who you are. And those are the things that are heightening a lot of the sadness, guilt, anger, resentment, whatever starts showing up. And so we just want to be aware of those and give ourselves time to process that in a healthy way. That's how I moved on. And I think one of the greatest signs that I was able to move on healthily was seeing the same person and not having an ounce of fear, wanting to go the other direction, being quick to block or anything of that sort. Actually, it was filled with gratitude, it was filled with appreciation, filled with a lot of love that never left, even when she said no. Um, and being okay, you know? And I think that is one of the biggest differences uh, in that experience. So I hope that made sense uh, in answering that question. And so again, be sure to ask your questions as we are just in a nice little Saturday reset. Appreciate y'all for joining in. When you come in, drop your life satisfaction rate. How you feeling today? Where are you watching me from? All right. And what's your question? All right. Um, we kind of addressed the main topic earlier. Like everybody is not supposed to be you. So be okay with engaging in people who don't think like you, who don't see the world exactly as you do. That doesn't mean, right, that doesn't make sense for you. That actually is calling you out someplace. And be willing to look at that as feedback, not as a means or excuse to leave. Um, and of course, there's a difference between people being different than you and then values not aligning. Okay. We want to make sure values align and that this person doesn't have to do things and think through things exactly how you do in order for the relationship to make sense. And high achievers struggle with this most because you cling to outcomes. Um, Tay asked a really good question. What is your biggest red flag in a relationship? Oof. Um, so I would say the one of the biggest red flags for me in relationships is um wow. I would definitely say your reactions in conflict. So I think the biggest measurement in healthy relationships is how you handle conflict. And I think a lot of people are determining the value of relationships in highs instead of lows. So when we're in low seasons and experiences, right, where things don't necessarily look as up or as bright, How are we responding? I think that's what lets me know where the legitimacy of the relationship is. And so if we're in conflict and it begins to become abusive, um, if we have some conflict, and you're beginning to use what is given from places of vulnerability against me, when there is, uh, man, I think just quickness to, I think, belittle, berate, demean, um, in conversation. I think that's a pretty big red flag for me. Um, and it's not a red flag because of, like, whether or not this person should know better or it demeans any kind of value I carry. I think it just lets me know this is not a safe connection that I believe I can return back to in moments where we're having struggles. That says a lot of times. What I've learned in my working space is that we're not necessarily needing to have all the answers like we say we do. We just need to know that even in the event of not having answers, we're safe together still. We're safe for each other and we're safe with each other. And a lot of times people are struggling to have that sense of safety for each other and with each other in the midst of disagreement because there's a lot of heightened anticipation that comes with navigating conflict, whether for the first time or in new manners due to tools you're gaining, because you're recognizing when you engage in conflict, it actually turns out to mean a lot more to you in certain seasons than others. So, yeah, I really think that's a big one. Um, you know, I think if I'm being honest, if you want to just generalize that, I just think self-awareness. Somebody who does not have a sense of self-awareness. You're not honest about where you are. You're not honest about what you're doing. You're not honest about how your behaviors are impacting other people. You're just completely blind to that. If that is the case, I don't even know how we're in a relationship at that point, to be honest. Because that's something that you can spot out pretty quickly. And so that is something that I think is important as a big red flag. Um, but I would actually want to ask y'all in the chat, um, what is the biggest green flags? We talk about red flags all the time. What's the biggest green flag that you have or want in a relationship? What's the biggest green flag for relationships? What's your biggest green flag in relationships? Y'all drop them in the comments. Okay. Oh, and I'll put this there. Answer that question. No, I'm not AI NFL. Nah, not at all. Um, not at all. Not at all. Answer this question on YouTube. Okay. What's your biggest green flag? Maybe that'll be the question that people will come in and answer. What's your biggest green flag? What do you feel like your biggest green flag is? Somebody connects with you. What's your biggest green flag? And then you can also answer what would you say are the biggest green flags for you in relationships, period. So two of them. What's your biggest green flag? And then what's the biggest green flags you want to experience in relationships? Um, Shout out to Tay, who, oh, I've been following you for a few days now. I think hey, I appreciate you. Very thoughtful. I appreciate you, Tay. I'm hoping you're getting a lot from this. You can learn a lot when you're in healthy spaces for just 3 days. Um, okay, biggest green flags are definitely respect and honesty. Okay, what do you mean by that? Go a little deeper with that. I think everybody might agree to respect and honesty. What do you mean? What do you think of when you think of respect and honesty? Any life advice? I mean, kind of depends on where you are in life. If there's a specific question to that, I think general life advice, I always encourage people to be present. Be present. Life can go a lot of different directions from season to season, and I think you're going to miss so much that is available to you from season to season when you're constantly hurrying or thinking that you need to get somewhere in order to experience the peace that you want. Peace is not on the location, it is where you are. And it's based on what you put your focus to. A lot of people don't like this because a lot of people have seriously programmed their life, um, to be focused on getting to places that allows them to be somewhere. Yeah, okay, 17. Yeah, my biggest advice to you as you're growing in your teenage years, senior in high school, going to college, be present. You are not behind. You do not need to hurry, and you are in amazing years in your life that gives you the opportunity to create things, to fail. It's no better time than the present than where you are now to fail, to try something and it doesn't work out. Um, and to really be in a creative mode in life, man. That's my biggest encouragement. Be present. No need to be in a hurry. You'll get on social media and see so many things, people in so many different places and doing so many big things. That does not mean that you're behind. Okay. Oftentimes, a lot of people are doing those things to feel a sense of importance. Um, so I should risk in healthy meaning. What do you mean? Yeah, I'm saying more so in a healthy way, man. Yes, take risks. Take risk in a healthy way. Don't do anything that puts your body in jeopardy. Obviously, I'm not talking about doing things that are asinine and crazy that literally put you in near death experiences. What I'm saying is, take risk in terms of creating a business or, being creative in content. Okay. Take risk that you feel will be able to create a return of investment in your life later down the line. Um, I remember being 17, 18, man, I was so focused on hoops. Um, yeah, you should try to see what it is. You wouldn't know without trying. There you go. I remember being in high school. I remember being, coming into college. I was so focused on hoops. That was my life. And I didn't really see a life for myself outside of that. And because of that, I limited myself in a lot of different directions. Everything was kind of centered on basketball. My identity was definitely wrapped around in basketball at that time in my life. And so, I didn't necessarily take advantage of as many opportunities or at least look to be creative with as many opportunities as I thought I could because I was so focused on trying to make it there. And then when the pandemic hit, and everything slowed down, that's kind of when I began to start stepping into trying things. That's when I developed the skill of editing. That's when I developed the skill of project management. I was able to be trusted with so much. I got a whole story behind that. Maybe one day I'll come on live and just share that with you guys. But it was a journey. But a lot of that came on the back of me being present, not rushing, not hurrying, not trying to reach different conclusions and results immediately. Social media will fool you into believing that if you don't reach places by a certain age, that you're behind and you're no good to society or you're no good to be married, you're no good to have. And I just don't believe that. And more importantly, God doesn't believe that in you. God doesn't see that in you. And I think that's probably some of the best advice I could give to anyone in that age bracket. Be present. Be where you are. We do not need to be in a rush and in a hurry to get anywhere. Um, and the value of where life is for you is where you are, not where you think you should be. Um, what your red flag in relationship with woman? Yeah, I think I shared that earlier. I just think in the midst of conflict, when there's a lot of, um, I mean, in a smaller world, a lot of aggression met with it. But more importantly, when we handle conflict, um, we're willing to be abusive and things that just aren't conducive to the connection and relationship. I think that's a big red flag how we handle conflict. No one needs to be perfect. I'm not expecting my significant other to be perfect, but we will be respectful. Um, I would say, I think again, self awareness, the lack of self awareness is huge. Okay. If you can't be honest with yourself, I can't expect you to be honest with me. And if there is no honesty here, then what are we doing? What are we doing? Right. So I think that's really important too. Um, and yeah, I think those are the two things that I would say right now are the pretty biggest ones. Um, but I also want to know too from you guys what's something that you would consider to be a green flag. Tay, still waiting on you to expand on respect and honesty. Cassandra said consistency and non-judgmentalness. That's a very common thing. Um, Consistency is a huge thing. It sounds like you're asking for the bare minimum, but when you find something that's consistent, you'll actually see how beneficial it is and how blessed you are. But more importantly, I won't say how blessed. I would say um, how important it is to wait for that level of consistency and not try to force it with somebody who's unwilling to give it. I think that makes a huge difference. Um, I think there's, especially when it comes this I want to pick up on my words here, especially when it comes to like a lot of the research that I've done for relationships, helping clients, my own work, and then a lot of studies that I've put together. Y'all, safety is so important, and I think safety goes so much further than just when people hear safety. Sometimes they think it's coddling, or it's like they think it's coddling, or they think it's like dismissive in some ways. Maybe some people think safety is just passiveness and allowing things to be. No, no, no. Safety is really one is determined by your ability to relax in your own nervous system and body. But then two, because you're a safe person, you're able to create safe environments, and safe environments just allows us to remain in a thread of consistency with who we are. So whether no matter what the season of life brings, you can count on me to be the same person, right? When you can count on me to respond in the same way. You can count on me in moments of struggle, in moments of uncertainty, to not crash out on you and go crazy on you. You can count on me just like in happy and peaceful seasons to be present, connected, and available. You can count on me to be that way, just like that in seasons where there's some disappointment and there's some ups and downs. There's some low moments. It's not so clear. It's not so bright. I think that is what reinforces a sense of safety. There are small actions that do that as well, but there are a lot of things that reinforce that sense of safety. And in order to be safe, yes, non-judgmentalness is there. Let's also be sure that we're clear on what non-judgmental is. I always love when I ask people those questions and then to go deeper. What do you mean by that? So I would love to know more about what you mean when you say non-judgmentalness, and if anybody else shares that same sentiment. When you hear non-judgmentalness, what do you mean? Um, so yeah, don't pay attention to that. Hey, yo, well, we're not gonna do that. Um, so yeah, good question, Cassandra. I have borderline personality disorder. Is it good to share that with a partner when it scares people? Yeah. Um, So, I mean, I think it can definitely be um on your discretion. I'm not necessarily saying a should or shouldn't, like there's a right or wrong to address that. Um I do think because it's something that is important for other people to know about you, I think you want to address that when you feel the most safe with them. Okay. There's been some string of conversation and connection. Obviously, there seems to be a direction where this is going somewhere. Okay. Um, and you reserve it for then. I really did pick vulnerable conversations to be measured by these things. Number one is the realness of it, right? So real, raw, and relevant are the three R's to vulnerability. Real, okay, obviously it's centered on honesty. I can't be vulnerable without honesty. Absolutely, Tay. Ask your questions. All relationships, it doesn't matter. Ask your questions. And then raw. Okay, so this isn't something that's maybe as filtered. Okay, when we talk about filtering conversations, sometimes we're very careful and we're trying to say all the right things. Sometimes when we just need to be vulnerable, we just need to say it as it is, say it how we feel it, and we want to be able to trust the person that we're saying this to has the capacity to handle that. Um, and so we want to do it in a real raw way, but then also relevancy. So when we're talking about relevancy, like I'm not trying to, it probably isn't a good time on a first date when we're laughing about playing skee ball in an arcade, right? That you just throw out, oh, I got BPD. Right? Like that probably isn't the best time to mention it. And plus, I don't know if it's necessarily something that is shebang. Manish on the beat, shebang. Yeah. We don't want to necessarily find ourselves in a place where we're doing that immediately, right? I think that's reserved for deeper conversations, right? And safety that's presented in the connection. I think when is up to your discretion. I want you to be able to trust your ability to know when the right time is. Um, I think as you start seeing the relationship have and build some momentum and you feel safe enough, that's a vulnerable act. And vulnerability is something that's earned. It's a gift that's earned. So we take our time with that. I'm wanting to be sure I answer your entire question. I do think, again, I do think it's good to share. Just a matter of the timing. Make some connections. Go out on the first few days. You need to know, one, do you even like this person? I think once you answer that question, I think all the other things make sense. Because if you don't really know if you like them, it probably doesn't make sense to go in that length of conversation. But if you're learning, I do like them, I want to know more about them, I want to keep getting to know them, then we know, what we can do. We know what type of energy we need to show up with. There's a lot of things in my dating experiences right now. I'm not quick to share, not because I'm afraid that if I share it, it's going to be somewhere it's not supposed to be. I do think when it comes to healing, your level of vulnerability and ability to be vulnerable consistently increases. Like, I do think there's a layer of my healing where I'm not too concerned about somebody knowing aspects of me because I'm not clinging to them. I'm not clinging to that as if, like, okay, in the event that this doesn't work out, now I feel like I regret, you know, being connected in such a deep way. No, no, no. I do think there's a level of healthiness where you can be as vulnerable as you want, and it doesn't come from a place of needing them to agree or needing them to be there with you, to share that space with you, to feel the same way, to validate in order for you to feel okay about sharing. But I think knowing that you like this person is good because now we'll realize I don't need to share this as a means of keeping them around, right? Or I don't need to share this in efforts of trying to people please to make sure that they stay, right? Because I don't want to step into that place of oversharing because I'm afraid of being rejected. So I'm going to tell them all these things just so they have less of a chance of rejecting me. I think if you're doing that, that's probably not a good place to start to share those things. I think if you get to a place where you recognize I like them and I'm more than interested on where this actually can go, and we realize that that conversation is becoming more of a necessity to have so that we all know what we're stepping into. All right, that makes sense. And I hope that answers your question. Yeah, I definitely I don't really follow the guidelines of like, okay, by say that by date 3 or date 5. I mean, I don't know. It's for you, it might not happen till like date 10 because by the time you have a date 10, you feel more comfortable and safe with this person compared to how you felt with them date 5. And I think if that's when you feel most comfortable with them and most safe, share it, you know, and take your time with it. I think everybody can be different in those spaces. So I hope that made sense. So Tay, I see your question or your back end of your question, but I don't see what else you put. Um, and my friend was there the whole time but didn't do anything. What do you mean by that? What happened? I don't think I got the last part of that or the earlier part of that. What's up, Elia Poetry? How are you? Good to see you. I think it's how I shared it. It was out of need and it didn't work. Yeah, 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 yeah. And so, um, and I think too, part of it too, especially with things like that that can happen or just, conditions and diagnosis, I think this is always a good opportunity for you to grow in learning to love yourself with that instead of needing somebody else to love that in you to feel more validated about you having it or the life you live with it. Because I do think the level of fullness and abundance that you can have is just as available to you now, even with a disorder or some challenge like that, you know, um, whatever it might be. And no, it's not demonic. I'll just throw that out there now. I can't tell you how many people I've sat in front of. No, you having that does not mean um, the things that you're experiencing is demonic. No, that's not the case either. And with people who are afraid of that, who are afraid of, or maybe it scares them off in any kind of way, just know, like, okay, that doesn't make sense. Obviously, the right person is going to embrace that in me, not feel like they have to run away, or I don't feel pressure to have to hide that from them in order to be okay, you know? Um, so we take that as feedback and we knock the dust off of our feet and we keep it moving. So I hope that made sense. But any other questions? Y'all go ahead and fill the chat when you're showing up. Be sure to um, hit the chat with your questions. Where are you watching from? What is your life satisfaction rate on a scale of 1 to 10? All right. And what's up? Holy Trinity, what's up? Welcome back. C. B, how you living? What's up, buddy? What is that? Ah, you have your old blanket, huh? Enjoy it. Yeah. Lock in. Nice. Um, oh, nice. Nice. Oh, okay. Cool. Huh? So, satisfaction rate is a 3 at best. Why is it a 3? Let's talk about it. Why is it at a 3? What's going on? And then also, if you guys want to go to the top of my page and click that link, you'll be able to get your free relational diagnostic and go from there to kind of know where you're at in the space of relationships and what you need to do in order to have healthier relationships to finish out this year in the best ways possible. Some updates are coming. So it may not necessarily, I might be having a different call to action by the time we get to next week. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see. And if you guys want to check daily videos and content, all right, one, be sure to subscribe to and follow to all my platforms, okay? YouTube, Coach Sean Walker, Instagram, TikTok, Coach Sean Walker. Be sure to follow. Got content dropping daily, okay? A lot of a lot of teaching and deeper perspectives, man. That again, kind of hard for me to fit into 1 hour of conversation with you guys. Um, at least without rambling and all those kind of things. So those videos are uploaded. You want to check those out. Really, really good, especially for those of you who are my high achievers. It's going to make a massive difference um, in where you're going and who you're wanting to be for the relationship that you want to have. My satisfaction rate is a 3 at best. I was given a second chance in life to move past everything I've done, yet I feel as if I'm starting to repeat history. Okay. Do you want to come up and talk about it a little bit? Are you open to that? I mean, I don't want to force that on you if you're not. Sounds like there's a lot to possibly unpack. So I can always send a request. Well, I guess before I send a request, there is an age limit on here, I know. So give you like 2 minutes. Okay. How old are you, Holy Trinity? That would be helpful too. I know it's been TikTok got a lot of guidelines. So, okay, cool. Yeah, yeah. I'll definitely invite you up. Or you can request up when you're ready. Just hit the pink and blue silhouette at the bottom. Um, and we can get going there. Okay. And we can talk about it there. Um, but yeah, I think this week has been really good. Um, I really enjoyed all of our conversations this week that we've had on live and everything else. And I think one of the biggest, I think, conversations that we've been having more and more is just understanding that the meanings that we carry to the experiences we have is oftentimes what we are feeling most bogged down by. It's not so much about the experience itself, but what it means about us, the stories, and all the things that we can dwell on that kind of has us stuck in survival when we're talking about operating in shame and guilt and anger and resentment and all these other things that definitely can weigh in on us. And sometimes we don't realize that we have the power to shift those states. We don't realize that we have I just don't want me to listen. Ain't nothing else, ain't nothing more TikTok can do on this end. Ain't nothing more TikTok can do. We'll be all right. We'll have some conversation. Um so yeah, I just think these this week's conversations have been really, really dope in that regard. And I think it all kind of culminates to what we opened up with today. Not everybody is gonna be like you. Okay. What's up, Tay? Oh, I appreciate you a ton. Absolutely. Appreciate you a ton. Take it easy. Enjoy your Saturday. Like we don't have to make everybody else like us in order for us to find a way to stay connected to them, enjoy them, build relationships with them. Um, I think that robs us of the uniqueness that we're able to connect with each other on. that just makes a difference. And on that note, um, a lot of times what we say is a problem really isn't a problem. We call it a compatibility problem. We call it a person problem. We call it a relationship problem. It's not really a problem. It's not a problem. It's the stories that we've created about it that actually is the issue. Because it's the problem that we don't have a lot of us don't have the problems that we say we do. A lot of us don't have the problems that we say we do. What's up, Ash? Good to see you. Shout out to my mod in the chat. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, so like a lot of us don't have the problems that we say we do. Oftentimes we just have struggles with dealing with the stories we've created about the problem we're creating or the problem we say we have that is holding us back. That's in relationships, that's in the marriage. And we wonder why we can't actually make progress in the relationships or in our areas of life that are suffering more than others. Cuz like it's interesting how creative you can get in your business. You get real creative when it comes to getting to what you want, doing what you want. But when it comes to your own healing, we lack that creativity. We lack that creativity. We lack that intention. And then we get mad because we don't see change. And what we forget is that there's a responsibility that we hold to engage in that creativity that gives us what we are actually looking for relationally. This is the same thing that people run into when it comes to the dating pool and the challenges that they have there. The dating pool, in and of itself, isn't what keeps you from experiencing the relationship you want. Because I don't know if you've noticed, maybe you don't see it on your timeline, but there are people who are getting married through this same dating pool that you are claiming is so bad that you can't find anybody because no one is available. Two people having similar experiences but different results. Somebody got married, and here you are, not only just still single, because there's nothing wrong with singleness. Singleness is a beautiful thing. But the reason why you're staying single is not necessarily because there's no one out there for you. It's because of a belief you've inherited that you can't find anybody because there's no good men left. All the good women are married, all the good ones are taken. And you'll be so surprised at how those beliefs are actually playing a bigger role in you not getting the relationship you want instead of the belief that there isn't anybody out there to build a relationship with. And so when we talk about these things from a experience, meaning, and action, this is what gives us the life and ability to take inventory on what exactly are we attributing meaning to that is creating more harm than good. This is what takes the responsibility out of the external things that we can't control, and it puts it back into our hands to do what we can control. And then the things that we can't control, we let the chips fall where they may. And this is really hard for a lot of high achievers because you are constantly being a control freak. Everything has to go the way that you want it to be. How do you deal with the pressure from family telling you you're running out of time? Um, I think simplistically, um, I guess the question that I would raise back to that is who made them the determining factor of time and you running out of it? I think that's the first question. Eco, what's happening, my guy? Good to see you. I think that's the first question. And truth is, we know that they didn't define time, they didn't authorize time. So they can't tell us when we're running out of time unless there's some due date or something that I'm unfamiliar with in regards to uh, their experience or what they're seeing or what they need. Um, I think that's number one. What I guess my question, I guess, secondly, is like, yeah, I guess that that it does need to be a question. What exactly are your is your family saying you're running out of time towards? Is there anything specific? Because I think even when it comes to family, when it comes to friendships, when it comes to other people, we definitely don't want to. Um, we don't ever want to get into a place where we are attributing so much value and meaning uh to people's expectations, even when it comes to family. Because family can be saying things and meaning well, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we should take heed to it. You know, like if I listened to my family on everything, I probably wouldn't be here. So I think there is I think there is a world where we can take heed to what our parents or family is telling us, but then when we recognize where they are, we don't have to allow that to be something that becomes the standard for how we live. So when family says you're running out of time and things like that, one, we can't control what our family does and what our family says, right? So our family is just gonna be so sporadic, and I feel that, but it gets to me sometimes. Yeah, okay, children. Yeah, no, I wouldn't even listen to that. Yeah, but here's why. But here's what it gets to us, right? So I want you to measure it this way, Ash, right? So it gets to us because it's exposing some kind of authoritative meaning that we're giving to their statements about where you are, as if it's like the cream of the crop and it's still top of the line, and it doesn't have to be, right? So of course we've grown up in an environment where maybe there was a world where their word mattered, what they thought about us mattered, and now as we're growing and we're seeing there's a lot of different things about them that doesn't necessarily mean that they're all the way quite there with some things, right? There's some life that they're living that I don't want to reflect in my own life. So because we're coming to some realizations of that, we can be okay in letting that go, not feeling like we need to control them from saying things, but also realizing too that that's where they are. And perhaps the hurry that they're trying to get you to run in is the same hurry they operated in, and look where it landed them, you know? And so it doesn't them saying things like you're behind or you need to, you're running out of time on having children. It's not really that statement in and of itself that's creating the maybe the sadness, the guilt, the shame, or any other survival experience. Yeah. So again, what they're saying is reaffirming something you've been rehearsing. So the real struggle again isn't even what they're saying. It's the very beliefs you've been rehearsing. So then the question is, what can we control? I actually just did an exercise like this. I don't mind doing it here. I want to bring this to y'all because I think it can be helpful. Let me get my whiteboard. And I want y'all to write this out too. Like if you have a journal or something, because this could be really helpful. Because sometimes we're trying to control things that we can't, and we don't really realize to what extent we actually can control the things that we can control. So we should write this out. Oh, where is my y'all? I must be like tired. Nope. Y'all, where is my marker? Oh no. Okay, maybe I'm being lazy because I don't want to stand up. Hold up. Oh, where is my marker? Oh, there it is. All right. I don't know how it landed all the way over there, but we'll make it work. All right. Oh, Ooh, your boy gonna get some good rest tonight. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Okay. So this is something that I really want y'all to think about. If y'all got like a piece of paper, a journal, something to write with, one, you should be bringing these to streams regularly now. Two, all right, I want you to have it with you. All right. And I want you to write out a chart for me. I want y'all to have this on side. I want y'all to have this on deck because this is going to help us stop living in an anxious world where because people say certain things, that means that we just have to sit with it, or that just means, hey, we just have to go crazy about it. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, we're giving people too much power over what really doesn't belong to them, you know? Because I think there's a world where we can be as direct with family and direct with people who want something more than than we want it, or they want it faster than we want it. I've told clients and friends and people many times, like, man, if you keep running into people who just keep asking about your singleness and your status, man, feel free to tell them, hey, you'll be the first to know. You'll be the first to know. And until then, quit asking. Good? Good. Like sometimes we're just not willing to be that direct because we're afraid of disturbing the boat. And I think, well, at the end of the day, we have to make a decision that's going to benefit where we are and where we're trying to go. As some fear has to be addressed, and the way that our brains continuously create fears for us to stay bottled up by is because we're unwilling to continuously and consistently do the hard thing. We would rather take the easy way, and we would rather do the easy thing, which is to leave it up in the air, not address it, all the things. Okay, instead of us actually being able to deal with it healthily. Okay, so on your chart, high as water. This is the chart. Okay, I want y'all to draw this out on a piece of paper. This will be real quick. Okay. So on the far left column, I want you to put fear. Okay. In the middle column, it's what I can control. And then on the far column, what I can't control. This kind of goes into some of what we talked about in the beginning of this conversation when it comes to not expecting everybody to be like you. Because that's what makes you unique. That's what makes you special. And we have to learn to embrace the uniqueness and specialities of others that we connect with without demanding them to be just like us to have a relationship. It's probably why a lot of y'all are still single. You're looking for somebody the exact way you are, but you're one of one. And we got to learn to appreciate the uniqueness that comes with everybody else around us. It doesn't mean abandon our values, but that also doesn't mean that I need you to do and think exactly how I do. And that what really invites us to grow is exercising the muscle of curiosity. Okay. So, fear. Let's say on the fear column, let's just use your example, Ash. Okay. Um, we're running out of time. Okay. The fear is that I'm running out of time. That's running out of time to have children. That's running out of time to be married. I'm getting older, not getting younger. And I have to start hurrying and making decisions. And if you notice, when fear is loudest in the room, it causes us to consider decisions we never would. We would consider decisions that the abundant version of us never would because we're so caught up on trying to reach a finish line because we think by reaching that finish line, we're now somebody. I mean something to my family. I mean something to my loved ones. I mean something to my circle. I finally have value as a woman. I finally have value as a man because I have X amount of money, because I have marriage, because I have a legacy. And we wrap our whole identity around these achievements, but it's really fear that's present. Okay. So let's just say on the left hand column, okay, I'm running out of time and we'll be specific to have children. Okay. Let's say that's the story. Well, what can we control in that situation? Okay. And you're probably like, shoot, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what I control. Well, let's just look at all possibilities, not just specific ones. Let's just look at all possibilities. Okay. What I can control is my focus. I can control my focus. I can control what I'm looking at. What do we mean by focus? Well, remember, lack or abundance, because lack and abundance is everywhere. So I can control whether or not I put my focus to the fact that I don't have kids and I'm 27 now, or I can put the focus to the aspect that I am child free, but I'm working on becoming the mother I know I can be. I can focus on the growth that I've made between last year and now. I can focus on what I do have. Let's just zoom out a little bit. I can focus on the wins that I have, the maturity I've grown in. I can focus on the healthiness that I'm becoming, because life isn't all about being a mom, even though being a mom is something that's important to you and I love it for you. We can hold the tension of wanting something for our lives and not identifying with it. So I can control my focus, which then also allows us to see I can control my response. I can control my response. Hey, appreciate you a ton. God bless you. I can control my response. What else can we control? Okay. And this goes for anything. You're going to write any kind of fear in this left hand column. We'll go through a couple examples. Okay. But maybe I can also, right? Here's something I can control. I can, put myself in position to date. Okay. We're just thinking of all options. We're not thinking that all of them are necessary to take. Let's just work them through. I can start dating. Okay. Maybe some women are like, yo, I can freeze my eggs. Okay. Some women are like, well, what I can control, okay, is, you know, um, my eating habits. Okay. I can control my fitness, staying in shape for when the day comes to have and bear children. Okay. I take care of my body now for that time when it shows up. Here's a big one that you might want to write down, and I would write this in all capital letters and circle it. I can control my meaning. What do I mean by control your meaning? I can control the meaning I'm giving to having kids, right? This doesn't have to diminish or minimize the want of having kids. This is us being able to integrate the fact that I've attributed a meaning that if I have kids, now I'm valuable, now I'm worthy, now I'm enough for my family, for my friends, for my loved ones, for those around me. Okay. So when we attribute that meaning to that, this is actually what's creating more of the tension and more of the fear. What's creating more of the fear is the story I've attached to having children, because I'm still in a position where I'm looking to be performative and I'm trying to perform for the love and attention of people around me. And you will soon find out, having kids, being married, all the things, none of that, none of that means that people won't still look at you sideways. None of that means people won't still treat you any kind of way, because having children and being a mom and being a wife and being a husband and all those things doesn't stop people from being people. So there's some things that I can do, okay, amongst so many others that I'm in control of, right? When you talk about my response, you can talk about your emotions, you can talk about your stories, the meaning, okay? Working on your soil, working on your sleep, being on top of those things, okay? Making sure your physical health is in line. But look at this. What I can't control. This is probably the biggest part, right? When we acknowledge what we can control, this is, you know, put in parentheses underneath that, do it. What I can control, I just need to simply do. Okay. Whether that's address the meaning, address the story, all those things. But in the column that says I can't control, okay, what we're simply learning to do is let it go. Let it go. Let it go. What can't I control? Well, I can't control. There we go. I can't control um when I get married. I can't control how I'm gonna meet man of dreams. I can't control um, the timing of the pregnancy. I can't control um I mean, I don't know. Well, here's another thing. Okay, yeah, like I can't control the term of the pregnancy term. I can't control, the outcome of the relationship. I can't control what my parents and family will say, right? I can't control how friends and peers will view me. Perception. I can't control any of that. So, out of all the things that we could possibly list in that column, in that far left column, okay, among many other things, we have to learn to let that go because it's something that we can't control. And we're exposing what's being exposed in this discomfort we're having when it comes to family members bringing up things that are reinforcing the inadequacies in us because of what we don't have. This is exposing the control freak we're still needing to let go of, and we're still needing to be honest about is present in order for us to remove, because we're controlling too many things that isn't our responsibility. Okay. Your boy loves, let's do another one. I can control the meaning. I can control my response. I can control where I put my focus. I can control taking care of my body up until then. I can control maybe learning. Maybe I need to do some research, some information, whatever the case is. Okay. But there are a lot of other things in this list that I can't control. Okay. So let's just say that maybe the next one is getting married. Okay. Well, meaning is still applied to what I can control. Response is still applied to what I can control. All right. All those things are still applied in that same situation. But let's go a little deeper. Okay. When it comes to getting married, I can control, okay, being present. I can control who I date and my values. I can control, all right, my ability to prepare for marriage, not just in appearance, but in beliefs, in behaviors, okay, in routines, okay, purpose. What's up? You lost? Oh man. Oh man. Did y'all fight hard though? Yeah. What'd you do? Hmm. All right. Sounds like you had fun. You need to ice up, rest up, get you some food, get you some energy to the crib, to your mom's house. Oh, okay. Looks like y'all got a lot going on. I love it. I'm proud of you. Keep fighting. Nice. Nice. Well, have fun. Get you some food, get you some water, get you some Gatorade. All right. Are y'all about to leave? Are y'all about to leave? Okay. I'll be down in a minute. So, getting married, right? See, if you're witnessing that even exchange right there, that's all preparation, gang. I can focus on the fact that I'm not married now, or I can look at all the invitations and opportunities around me and say, yo, this is an opportunity for me to what? Get my husband attributes up, my fatherly attributes up, in maybe inconvenient ways, but ways that are training me to be the best I can be for what I want. So, what can I control? Being present, who I date, preparation, routines, purpose. Okay. This is how some of us need to think about it, man. I need to control my mouth, my words. Okay. Probably can't see it, but I need to control all that. Okay. What can't I control? I can't control when, can't control how, can't always control why. Okay. Timelines and timetables. Spelling that all wrong. Timelines and timetables. I can't control that. Right. I can't marry myself, can't propose to myself, can't do all those things. Okay. I can't control any of that. So guess what we need to do? We got to let it go. And we let it go in moments and seasons. This is how we let it go in a very applicable, tangible place. When we consistently encounter something that is reminding us of that reality. It's not to remind us of that reality to just bring more shame and guilt. It's bringing that back because, again, it's constantly exposing something in us that we're clinging to that we are slowly dying to. And it gives us the ability to move in a level of abundance different than what we believe abundance will have to come through, which is through family, legacy, everybody, doing what we think they should do. I can't control other people. I can't control what other people do. I can't control what other people say. I can't control what other people react to. I can only control me. And if I'm choosing to live a life of abundance, then that means I need to be able to be better at controlling what I'm looking at and what I'm responding to, what I'm focusing on. And instead of focusing on when I'm getting married, if I'm getting married, marriage is in the cards, I'm focusing on everything else that makes my life just as exciting today as it will be when I'm married. Because life don't just get exciting all of a sudden because I walked down the aisle and got married in front of an altar. And anybody who moves at that pace, it extremely exposes why divorce rates are as high as they are. Because we thought getting to the altar made sense. We thought getting to the altar was going to bring us a level of happiness. We put all that on our spouse and on our significant other instead of actually resting in who we are and allowing that and that to be the flow of abundance that we move in. And there's so many other things that we can put in that fear column. Okay. Extend the list if you need to. But we have to be able to identify some of these fears and realize that some of these fears are there because we're not wanting to disappoint other people. We're more afraid of disappointing other people than living the life that's in front of us. And something has to give because if it doesn't, the cost is we jump into something prematurely, we hurry to a finish line, we hurry to a destination, and then we regret it because the people that wanted us there are happy and we're disappointed. We're sad, we're struggling, we're suffering, we don't want to be here. And like I think this is your life. This is your life. Your life, the life that you have the ability to live. And there's no right or wrong. There's no right or wrong. Yeah, I get you don't want to be alone forever, but again, we're rehearsing the stories and the negative stories around that. We have to stop giving so much attention to that. And it starts by being aware when we're doing that and shifting our focus to what we do have. Because who we don't even know. Like again, this idea of even being alone forever, we don't even know that that's happening. Forever hasn't even been reached yet. Forever hasn't even been reached. We not know we not even there. We not even there. And yet we're creating all these stories on something that has yet to show up. That's what's creating more of the angst and anxiousness and fear that we're learning how to progress and process. And here's what's crazy. All the energy that we're putting into this idea of being alone forever, we can definitely put that same type of energy to what's already around us and see two different results. The result you're currently carrying, where you're constantly worried about what hasn't happened, and then the result that you're available to carry that allows you to live abundantly in where you are, happy and excited, content, satisfied, full. And you'll realize, like, oh, snap, marriage isn't in my life yet. And I'm as happy as I can be consistently. And then it's like when marriage happens, this person now gets privilege of experiencing the abundance that you carry alongside you experiencing the abundance they carry. And guess what happens? A beautiful relationship and marriage comes out of that. And that's what makes it that much better. But no, what we do is we actually connect with people and we think that's supposed to bring us this sort of happiness and missing peace. So that clearly tells me that the messaging that marriage is complementary, not completion, goes over so many people's heads. And it makes sense to you because you shout at it and you nod your head at it, but you don't really fully believe it. Because there's an identity there that we're still wrestling with that we're just being aware of and we want to catch. No shame, no guilt. We just want to catch it and rewrite the stories. Does that make sense? We just want to rewrite the stories. That's it. We want to give ourselves the opportunity to rewrite the stories. Identify the fear, identify it, call it out. Because oftentimes it's more about what we believe not getting this means about us around people from people around us, not actually because that in and of itself doesn't happen. You're talking to somebody who wants marriage. You're talking to somebody who wants a family. You're talking to somebody who envisions it and visualizes that daily. And yet the fullness that I'm able to operate in that doesn't allow me to rush and hurry is because the feeling that I know I'll have there is the same feeling I'm bringing into my reality today. Which means when I get there, not only will it feel familiar because I'm training my nervous system, rewiring that, but it's something that I'll be forever grateful for and not be afraid of when it shows up. And a lot of us are in positions where we say we want the marriage and we want a relationship and we want children and we want a legacy, but we wouldn't even know what to do with it if it showed up in front of us. We would run from it. We would self sabotage. We would fumble it. So all this hurrying to a destination you don't even think you're ready for. Why are we in a rush? So why don't we focus more about on the aspect of the value of becoming for that role, for that space, for that lane in life, so that when it shows up, we're ready for it instead of thinking we need to have it tomorrow. Because it's so interesting. I'll ask the same question like, okay, you're worried about waiting forever to not have it. Well, if it showed up to you tomorrow, would you receive it? And most times people are like, nah. I'm not ready for it. I don't know what to do. I'd probably be scared. So again, that just proves that like we're hurrying to what? What are we hurrying to? What are we hurrying to? And it's all based off not circumstances, but decisions. Your sense of readiness is not based off of circumstances, it's decisions. I'm not asking you to get your whole life together overnight. Nah, fam. Like you're doing work in your singleness. And then guess what? You're gonna get into the relationship and there's gonna be some other stuff that's exposed that you didn't even know were there until you were dealing with someone that you love and you wanna do life with, but they just have a way of pressing buttons you didn't even know was there. So now you gotta work on that. That doesn't mean that everything else we done was worthless, and that doesn't mean that we should wait till the perfect day. That just means, hey, I'm just working on getting a consistent level of awareness of where I'm at, being honest about it, and being willing to engage with it, not adding more shame to it, not adding more guilt to it. And we'll see how much lighter life becomes when we operate in these manners. It's less about arriving, it's more about a rhythm we're cultivating. Yeah, yeah. No, no, no. It's never been about healing all the way. I've never agreed to that sentiment. And I get what people are saying when they say that. And yes, there is a time where we need to separate and step away from things in order for us to get ourselves in a healthier position. That doesn't mean perfection. And we have to be careful because sometimes that's adding more pressure to the perfectionism mindset we're actually saying we're trying to heal from when we tell ourselves, I need to be here in order to be available for this. I used to tell myself all the time I wasn't available to date because I didn't have a car and didn't have any money. Then I started making money, and then I started coming up with even more excuses once I started making money. I was like, "Okay, well, now I don't feel like I have enough money, so let me get more stable." And then guess what? Once I do that, then it's like, "Oh, well, dang, what if she doesn't really like me for me? She just likes me for what I have." Do you see how we can continuously come up with all these different reasons and excuses to not do something that we once told ourselves if we were where we are, we would do? It's never because of the external situation. It's never because of that. It's never been because of that situation. It's been because of the meaning and stories we've been applying. And so that's why I'm saying we're growing in this beginning space to engage in this, catch it and rewire it. And I wish I could explain it to y'all all here, but what's crazy is you actually have a better chance of getting this broken down. Uh oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, you muted it. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's fine. Um, like all of this will make a whole lot more sense if y'all just jump into my secure program. Cause like you're gonna need to hear these stuff repetitively, and it's in an entire course that you would invest into that actually gets you the results you're after. So yeah, I just think it's one of those things where we're wanting to rest in this fullness and abundance that we already have, that you already have, man. It's not like that. Nah, it doesn't. It doesn't. Uh-uh. I'm okay with it though. Like I'm not bothered by it. I mean, just as long as they don't have access to the chat no more, I'm good. I ain't tripping by it. They had their like 10 seconds of fame. So, but yeah, that's what we want to be mindful of, y'all. I want to get y'all to the place where you guys are full and abundant and secure where you are. And then when the marriage shows up, the hubby shows up, the relationship shows up, the family shows up, and you're able to create that, you're going to be so much more grateful for where you created from as opposed to where you thought you were ready to create it from earlier on. That came from more lack instead of abundance. I want y'all to be married. I want y'all to have kids, lots of them, as many as your heart's desire. But social media has a lot of y'all tricked and drowning in unnecessary sorrows. Is that the attached site? Yeah. Yeah, 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 Cassandra. Yeah. So when you um when you go to that site, you actually I have a whole app behind the scenes there that's available for clients that all my clients use to track tangibly their journey to security, and not just journeying there, but maintaining that rhythm of security. So, um, yeah. Oh, it's good. You've been doing it for 7 days. Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. So I want you to, I'll be going through it on there. Yeah. So I definitely want you to join in on you should have the free week trial, Cassandra, to the secure program. I want you to start that and engage with us in the community too as complete each day. That's just a glimpse of what you can expect from the whole program. But I want you to also invest into the whole program, because like that's where all this stuff gets broken down. So that way you can actually get to the love you've always wanted, which starts with you. Security you've always wanted, that starts with you. So you can actually get this, y'all, make healthy relationship decisions. Trust your decision making, your ability to make healthy decisions, secure decisions, consistent decisions. Because a lot of y'all are more afraid of the fact that you'll make the wrong decision than you are making the right decision. So what if we actually walked into this and we were so full in our ability to make a decision and recover in the event that the decision we made didn't turn out to be favorable, that we stopped being so stressed about whether or not this decision was the right or wrong decision, and we just trusted what we saw and we were able to go with it? Wouldn't life be so much easier if you didn't have to go home every night overthinking on your pillow about what you did and replaying every conversation, rehearsing every moment in grave detail? It would be nice, wouldn't it? It would be nice for you to actually not feel like you have to go back to the message thread to look at the thread, to look at the messages and really read them to see what else could they have gotten that would have made them respond the way they did. Wouldn't it be nice? That's literally the entirety of the program and the existence of this coaching for y'all to be able to do. And yes, you're gonna have to invest. You're gonna want to invest. Y'all don't want y'all if y'all looking at this kind of stuff, and if I just handed it out for free and for all this stuff, you wouldn't take it serious. Trust me when I tell you, I've seen it. You don't take it serious, but when you invest, you locked in and you're actually looking for results. And you're gonna get results. Don't believe me? Check out my testimonial page. It's all over there. It's plastered. Plenty of women just like you who want to have the same level of relationships healthily as they do in other areas in their life, their business, their work, their finances. Everywhere else is cool and stable, but your relationships are struggling. Why? It don't have to be like that. It don't have to be like that. So invest, man. Invest. Invest to get the rest. What's up, Jamal? I'm good, man. How are you? Good to see you. All right. So I feel like I answered all the questions. I hope everything is good. If you have more, hey, listen, there'll be another stream coming up sometime next week for you to do the same. I've been ranting on this whole secure program. I want you to invest and take your next steps. Go to the top of my page. All right. Click that Linktree link and click the relational questionnaire or diagnostic. Get your free relational diagnostic. That'll be your beginning. And then finish it. Okay. There should be a section that says a book free qualification call. You'll answer those questions after you complete the questionnaire. And then that'll be able to qualify you on a program that makes the most sense for you moving forward to get you in the next steps to not just your healing, but getting and experiencing the love you want. Okay. Be sure to also pay attention to all pages. Content is going up daily. So be sure to subscribe to my YouTube, follow my Instagram and TikTok, all the things. Okay. And hey, shout out to Makara the Great. Appreciate you a ton. And if you can't do any of that, okay, be sure to follow for more conversations coming, lives coming, and we're going to continue to build on these things together from a secure place, as we are here to simply help high achieving professionals or high achievers make confident relationship decisions and build relationships worth protecting. Yes, that includes you. Okay. I appreciate you a ton. I love you all. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see each other soon. Till then, be easy and be breezy. Peace.